Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and I'm once again joined by my friend Angel.
Hi, welcome back.
I always do this because on the screen I see you this way, but my hand is not going towards you. I should do this.
Those are for the YouTubers out there.
We're back once again with our Port Charles segment. We are covering the arc Time in a Bottle, and this week we watched week 2. A little trigger warning. There were themes discussing rape, so if that's a triggering subject for you, come back with us next week, and hopefully you'll be able to listen. If not, we will proceed. So I'll roll the credits, and we'll get into it. So we open with Jack, Jamal, and Allison cleaning up the shop and painting. And Allison's not speaking directly to Jamal. Because they had a little argument about her grandmother. You know, she's very triggered by her grandmother showing interest in their relationship and being supportive in their business venture. And Jamal thinks that she should give her the benefit of the doubt. So they're not speaking really. They're speaking through Jack. Jamal says that he'll stop treating her like a child when she stops acting like one. And I was like, oh man, this is not gonna be good.
Oh, here we go.
I liked having more of them. This should always have been what it was. They shouldn't disappear for weeks and just be Frank is corresponding through Nellie, the computer. He gets a message asking what kind of machine is he. And he says he's not a machine, he's human. And Nellie shuts down. Frank calls Karen and tells her what's going on. He says one of the messages he got said that I'm so in love. And she says, you thought I said that? And she has a big smile on her face. Jamal and Allison argue about her grandmother. He thinks that she should try to make amends with her and give her a chance. And Allison is pretty stubborn and thinks that nothing has changed, that she knows her grandmother better than anybody else.
Yeah.
Ariana is extremely angry that Eve is at the apartment. She's freaking out that the INS agent will be suspicious with Eve hanging around. Ian takes a phone call and Eve goes to leave, but Ariana asks her if she came back to be with Ian. Karen thinks that Frank has a secret admirer through Nellie. Jack manages to smooth things over between Jamal and Allison by reminding them how lucky they are and how much they love each other. That was sweet.
That was really sweet.
This is kind of the dynamic I remember. And I'm like, okay, this feels like my show now, the one that I watched.
Yeah. Didn't he lock all the doors from the inside?
Yeah, for a later fight because they fight again.
Okay.
Ian is on the phone trying to get Ariana a new identity and a new place to live. Eve assures Ariana that she's on her side and she wants to help. And she says amazing a lot. I was like, okay, because she was like, this place is amazing. What you did this place is amazing. Ian's so amazing. And I'm like, shut up. I'm like, you should make a drinking game out of how many times she says amazing.
I know, right?
Even Ariana was like, okay, I'm done with the amazing because she gets upset. Every time Eve starts talking about Ian, she can't hide how she feels about him. She screams for her to stay away and leave them alone. When Frank leaves the computer screen, it says, I want to know more about you. So something's happening.
Yeah. I'm surprised she didn't leave like a question mark. You know how it's a little bit about me. I'm dating, and it can be so overwhelming for a woman when you're
Or
dating, and when you're getting all these messages. So you're like trying to go back and forth between messages, and
Mhm.
then some of them leave a question mark.
or given the time, it's 2001. ASL, age, sex, location. Like that's how
Yep.
things work. Oh god, when I think back, I was in like the Yahoo chat rooms, and I remember being like 14, New York. Like I was probably talking to a 30-year-old.
Talk. Nope. Oh my gosh.
The fact that I'm still alive is amazing.
I know, me too.
A building inspector serves Jamal with a list of 52 violations that he has 48 hours to fix. Otherwise, he has to close the shop down.
I was like, oh my God.
And Allison thinks her grandmother has something to do with it. She's like, I knew it. It's Nana. I know it.
Oh, I agree with Allison.
I mean, I do too, given the phone call we saw in the alley after she left them, pretending to be supportive. Eve can tell by the fear in Ariana's voice she's afraid of losing Ian. She tells him she thinks Ariana has fallen in love with him. I think you're onto something, Eve.
Yeah, you are.
Kevin wakes up Lucy, who has fallen asleep on the couch, with a kiss and flowers.
No.
He apologizes for missing dinner, and she asks what happened to his hand, and I totally forgot about the whole hospital scene.
Yeah, because we were talking about it. We were talking about the end of last week, and then I was like, oh, okay, it's Jamal. I was like, yeah, look at them, and then I forgot all about it too.
I even forgot. I was like, why are Jamal and Allison like not talking? Like, what happened? Eve tells Ariana, Eve tells Ian Ariana looks at him the same way she does. She says she's not just afraid of the INS, but of losing the man she loves. Allison is determined to fight her grandmother. Okay, and now this is where I need your help, because this is a reference to the past. She says she's going to go to the press and admit that she killed Cedric.
Yes, so this was around the time she first started on the show. Before that, where Jamal and Allison kind of first started on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So Cedric, well, he didn't rape her. He was like attempting to attack her, and then she killed him. But then I think she lost her memory about killing Cedric.
Okay.
I actually forgot if anything came from that. If anything came from that, except for like the whole remember when Cedric's men destroyed the bike shop with Jack in it?
Yeah,
trashed it. Yeah, so I think there's little threads of that coming back.
Okay.
I don't want to say too much because I think this goes all the way into the beginning of Tainted Love.
Okay. Okay. What is Lucy's duck's name?
Cedric. No, not Cedric. Sigmund.
Sigmund. And I was like, wait, how am I messing up the names? Because I'm like, I thought that was the duck's
No,
name.
I just messed up.
I'm like, okay, it was the S's that got me.
Well, Cedric was with a C, I think, and then Sigmund's with an S. That's how you can remember it.
Oh, right. You're right. Okay. All right. Where am I? I lost my place. Oh, Kevin explains to Lucy what happened at the hospital and how the couple was fighting, and the guy had a gun pulled with no bullets, and the wife was so mad he didn't go to jail, she attacked him with a pair of scissors. I don't remember it being scissors. I thought it was a scalpel.
I thought it was a scalpel.
All right, I'll go with it.
Yeah, we'll go with it.
It's like the whole ashtray coffee mug situation from Fate.
Yeah,
like looks like an ashtray. She gave him a mug. Ariana sneaks out of the apartment and is sitting on the docks crying. And a mysterious figure approaches her. Now, for a split second, I thought Ben was back.
Me too.
I was like, oh God, he's back. Take her
Like, oh,
with
God, here we go. Here we go. All right. Time to get my baseball bat.
Jamal and Allison argue again on how to handle the building situation. Jack sneaks out and locks them in the shop together. This feels like such a TV trope because, to my knowledge, you can't lock somebody in from the outside. The locks are on the inside to keep people out. Usually 90-something% of the time.
Yeah.
So it's like this whole we're locked in is such a TV trope. How do you get locked into a bike shop?
I have no idea.
But I get it.
I know my basement door is like that for safety reasons. Like you can lock somebody from inside the basement for safety. Or no. I'm sorry. You can go down the basement and lock the door from the inside. So that way, if there's an intruder in the house and you go into the basement, then you can just have your cell phone and call 911. I mean, it was 2001. There were cell phones, but I don't know why it was like locked from like that. But like looking at it now, like you could like go into the basement if there's an intruder in the house, and then you could just lock yourself in. So that way, when
from the inside,
comes,
from downstairs, not from the outside, and you can't get out from inside. But that's like saying this window's locked. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody from the outside could open the window and get in? What? That doesn't make sense. But okay.
Why didn't they escape from the window?
Jack sneaks out and he locks them in the shop together. Ian checks the old apartment for Ariana, and Joe turns on the lights with a baseball bat and it's like, who's there? I'm like, now you care who comes through your kitchen? Everybody's just running in and out and you don't say anything, and now you
Exactly. Come on, Joe.
I guess
11 million people who lived in your basement or who just walks in. Like, come on.
Well, General Hospital's been in that apartment.
Yeah.
I guess because it's vacant now, I'll give him that.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
So we got to see him and Gabby real quick this week. So the strange man approaches Ariana on the docks. He says a pretty woman should not be out here by herself this late at night. She goes to run and slips on ice, and he grabs her to pull her up, and she swings her arms at him, screaming, "Don't touch me." Allison has a realization that it only took one interaction with her grandmother, and she reverts back to her old self, throwing temper tantrums, acting like an immature child.
Mm-hmm.
Jamal and her make up again, and they kiss. So Jack's plan to lock them in together worked.
Yep.
Joe gets a call. He either gets a call or he makes a call that a police report describing Ariana's description. It came through and says that she's at GH. Eve goes to see Kevin, and it was a little moment, but I appreciated it. She was gonna walk in because she had a key to the house because she lived there and she was married to Kevin. But I like that she had like a mature moment, like, no, I don't live here anymore. I should knock.
Yeah.
She knocks on the door and nobody answers, and she goes to walk away, and Lucy answers in Kevin's shirt, only Kevin's shirt. Frank calls Karen from the recovery room, the bar, not the actual recovery room.
Uh-huh.
And Chris overhears and teases him. Livy goes to see Allison at the shop and gives her a donation. And Allison says that she was wrong about Jack and that Livy should try to work things out with him. I was like, oh, that's sweet. Kevin is not home, but Lucy offers to talk to Eve if she wants. I like these scenes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin tells Ian Ariana's condition is psychological, not physical. that she attacked a fisherman trying to help her. Chris baits Frank with an argument by mentioning Courtney. So did they fight over Courtney? Because this was another reference to the past that I didn't know about. Like, was she?
I don't know if not Frank. I don't know if Chris and Courtney were together. I forgot if they were together. I don't think they were though.
Was he fixated on her like he is with Livy?
I mean, I don't think he was fixated. I think he's just using Courtney because Frank doesn't have a good history with relationships. So I think this is just Chris like saying like, oh yeah, you're like, look at you. You couldn't get Courtney to stay in town. Now you're with Karen and you're gonna run her away too. So
Chris is just being Chris.
Chris is just being Chris, yeah.
But I don't
think Frank Chris and Courtney were ever together. But I'll check. And you can comment in the comments about it too.
I had a moment during these scenes because I actually really enjoyed the little banter. And I was like, okay, Chris. I was like, you're a jerk. I was like, but I think I appreciate your sarcasm and I was like, so you could stay. Still don't like you, but I enjoy what you bring to the table. Livy interrupts this little banter, and Chris is talking to her about school, and she starts having flashbacks about her and Jack. And she says she can't focus because she's so nervous about this interview. I put, girl at bar wants to come over Frank's to see his computer. I'm like, really? That's the turn on for you? Because it's 2001 now. Computers aren't a novelty. Most people have them, and if they don't, there's the library. There is, what are they called? Cyber cafes like .com on days.
I've been to a cyber cafe before in New York City.
Really? I never been.
Yep. Yeah, I went there. It was like 2005 I went, and you have to pay like $5 for like, I forgot how many minutes of internet. I think it was like 10 minutes. It wasn't that a lot of time on internet. I think it was like 10 or 30 minutes. And yeah, it was cool. It was really cool.
And I guess you connected to like, because Wi-Fi wasn't around then. They're broadband.
No, it would have been wired.
Okay. That's interesting. I've never been. I've only, because I had a computer. I got a computer when I was 14, like not a laptop, just a regular like. And before that, I would just go to the library.
Yeah, I would go to my school's library to use after school every day. So.
So yeah, I thought that was weird. She's like, maybe you could take me to your place. I'm like, okay, we're using this as
I feel like it was a euphemism.
Yeah.
For sex. So
yeah, but she wasn't selling it.
Yeah.
Jamal ended up not getting an extension on the 48 hours to get the shop together. And Allison's hopes are back down. But Jack says they won't give up. And Livy witnesses this, and she looks longingly at Jack as he takes Allison back to the shop. Eve and Lucy can't help but pick at each other over their romantic situations and how similar they are. Both being with technically married men.
Right, because Eve and Kevin aren't divorced yet.
Yeah. And even Eve couldn't help herself. She was like, you think I'm back? Like, I could take Kevin back because I'm married. You know, I am married to him. Ariana's having a session with Kevin. She does not want to talk about what happened on the docks, and she's clearly exhibiting signs of PTSD from her rape.
I want to say something about this real quick.
Okay.
I feel like, and I know Kevin's the only therapist at GH, but I feel like Ariana should have been best helped with a female therapist. Not saying that Kevin wasn't doing a good job, because I think Kevin was doing an excellent job. But I think because of the situation, and I don't know if Kevin, how much Kevin knows about the situation, that that it's probably better that, you know, a female therapist stepped in to help Ariana.
I thought that too, and they did mention this, but he said, you know, do you not feel comfortable talking to me because I'm technically Eve's husband? And he did say that he could refer her to another colleague if she wasn't comfortable. But she's like, I'm not talking anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because she said, she refused help, so.
Yeah, and at least she knows, semi-knows Kevin, because she's seen him around.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, he's the only contract therapist.
Yeah.
Eve tells Lucy what she was told on the island, that her and Ian would, I think, never be happy in this lifetime or be together in this lifetime.
Yeah.
And Lucy tries to like smooth it over by being like, well, you know, not everybody is correct. And Eve says the only thing worse than fighting with her is Lucy being nice to her. There was a cute little moment, like she handed Eve tissues, and Eve like took a tissue and threw the box. And I was like, I really like these moments. I want more of them, but I don't want it to be like oversaturated with them. So if we get them every once in a while, I feel like I can, like, savor these moments. Karen is back in town already. Like, I thought she was going to be gone for weeks. She was literally gone for like.
Yeah, me too. I thought she was going to be off for like, what did she say, 6 weeks?
Yeah. It was like 6 episodes.
Yeah.
She runs.
She left at the end of Fate, and then now she's back in week 2 of this. So it's only been like.
Yeah, this is now Thursday, so she was gone for a week. She runs into Eve ordering food, and Eve thinks she ordered a lot of food for just one person and guesses it's for her and Frank. And they just had like friendship scenes. It was basically all exposition, just like catching her up on everything that's going on between her and Ian. Her Karen talking about her and Frank. So it really wasn't anything new. It was just exposition.
Yeah, like what friends do. Like, I like their friendship. I really like their friendship.
She even says, "You weren't around. I had to resort to talking to Lucy." Frank is chatting on Nellie, and it asks what the internet is, and he's like, "What do you mean? What's the internet?" He says, "Are you living under a rock?" And they say they live in a small town, and he thinks this is a scam. And the computer asks if he's with the government.
And then he turns it off.
He gets freaked out and he shuts it off. Ian encourages Ariana to talk about the details of her rape and how it affected her. We find out that she snuck out against her father's wishes to go to, I guess, a library to get a book. And the man that attacked her was actually a friend of her brother's. I put Frank goes on a date with bartender girl, and she asks if there's anyone she should be jealous of, and I'm like, whoa, girl, you're skipping ahead.
Yeah, stay in your lane, girl. Stay in your lane. Go on. Like,
this is, I mean, it looks like it's daytime still. This is like lunch. Like, calm down.
Yeah.
She asked to go back to his place to see the computer he's always talking about.
So he does always talk about the computer. I mean, that wouldn't actually turn me on. That would just be like, oh, okay, you're talking to a computer. Okay, all right, I'll go out with you, but maybe don't go to his place.
She might as well have said, like, how hard is the hard drive?
Yeah.
Um, where are we? Okay. Um, Karen is now waiting in the garage for Frank to surprise him. So now it looks
With
like he's
pizza.
gonna be, yeah. So now it looks like he's gonna be bringing this girl back to his place, and Karen's waiting there. And at the end of the episode, I was actually surprised. I don't know why, but there was a Rain PSA with the actress that plays Ariana. I thought they handled it very well.
They did. And then if you notice in the credits there, it said there was support from the Los Angeles. Oh, I should have wrote this down. I'm sorry. There was support from not from Rain, but from like a women's from like a
shelter.
Like it's not a shelter, but like a what? Because there's women against rape, like some kind of like center.
Okay.
There's women against rape in Philadelphia, but something similar to that for Los Angeles. So they actually supported the writers. It's underneath of the writers' credits. So you know how they have like Barbara Bloom, Barbara Eisenstein, and James Harmon Brown. Then there's a whole list of people, and at the bottom of that there was a support from, and then I just forgot the name of the people. So
see, I don't watch the credits. After the next time on Port Charles, I just skip to the next one.
I like the credits because I like the song.
I always watch the opening credits because I like the song.
I see if like there's like a SoapNet thing because I love the SoapNet stuff.
Yeah.
Like if it's recorded from SoapNet, I'm like, okay, let me see what they left in. If they left something in, like, yeah. So that's why I watched the credits. So to see if like, and that's how I knew who plays who. So I'm a big nerd when it comes to that.
I know we've been pretty rough on this actress, mostly because we don't like the character, not really because of the actress's acting style. But I really did feel for her in this episode.
I did.
The way she was able to portray like the disassociation and like the trauma from what happened to her, I thought she did a really, really realistic and great job.
She really did. Like I get now why she was cast as Ariana, because if they had those scenes pre-written or something like that pre-written, I could see why she got the role. Everything else with her, I wasn't really feeling, but her talking about the rape, her talking about like her even on the docks, I was like, oh, I feel bad for her, like, you know, because like before, because Eve, like the argument with Eve, I wasn't feeling, but then everything after the argument with Eve, I was feeling for her.
Yeah. Those dock scenes were quick. They couldn't have been more than 3 minutes combined. But my mind went to a lot of places with those scenes.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I thought it was Ben. Then I was like, oh God, it's happening again. Like, she's going to get attacked. Prior to him walking up, I thought she was contemplating jumping into the water.
Yeah.
So, like, a lot of things was rushing through my mind. I'm like, what's going to happen with this girl?
It's like, oh man, she's going to jump into the water. Because I thought about when in General Hospital, when Duke pushed Jason into the water and he died the first time. So, well, did he die before that? I don't know. When he died the first time. So I thought about that. I was like, oh no, there's nothing good happens on the docks of GH. What about Port Charles? Like, so.
Is that when Steve Burton left the first time, like for a little bit?
Yeah, that was when he left and went on The Young and the Restless.
Oh, okay. It wasn't.
That was the first. I think that I'm not sure if he died before that. But he might not have. But I know he left town and did like
okay.
In like around this time where he left town, and that was around the time he was with Elizabeth, I think.
Oh, okay.
Like he kind of formed a friendship with Elizabeth, and then he left town. And then I remember they did like there was a TV movie he was in called Semper Fi. So. It's like, I want to watch this because of Steve Burton. Now I really don't care about him anymore. So,
Frank walks into the garage to find Karen, and they begin kissing. And at first, I'm like, is the girl standing behind him?
So where's the girl? Where is she? Where's she at? Huh?
Jack, Jamal, and Allison are getting down to the wire on fixing up the the shop to code. Jamal says they are only 3 people, and Livy walks in and says 4. She's here to help.
Oh, Livy.
And I was like, the gang's back together.
Everybody's back together, yes. They're in the bike shop fixing it up and everything like that. Oh, I love them together. The quad.
Allison almost immediately slides down a ladder and hurts her ankle. So now they're back down to 3.
Now back to 3.
And Jamal wants to take her to the hospital, so now they're down to 2. But this was all just a plot device.
Split up by couples, so that's good.
This was all basically just written to leave Jack and Livy alone, so they could like have a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Frank admits that he was on a date. He explains how off screen, because we didn't see this, he told her he couldn't move forward because he was in love with Karen. Now they did lightly discuss that he was kind of seeing somebody, but we didn't see. We assumed he was bringing this girl back to see Nellie. A tech guy comes to work on Nellie, and he says there's no way that a computer from 30 years ago could connect to a phone line, let alone receive messages. And Frank thinks they're in the Twilight Zone. Okay.
I need to talk about the guy.
Uh-huh.
Were you getting gay vibes from him?
Yes.
Okay, me too. Good. Okay, I was like, wait a minute.
I also couldn't like move past the fact that he was like Jurassic, referring to how old the computer was. And then Frank, he was like, you didn't change, and then he said whatever he said. I don't really know tech speak. But then Frank said something about HTML, and I'm like, now you're just saying words. I'm like, because none of that. I was like, I know enough to know that doesn't mean anything. That's all web browser stuff.
It's like, this is all a browser thing. Come on. It's like saying, oh, it runs on HTML. Like, okay, yes, we know it's code. Okay, we get it. It's hypertext markup language. We get it.
Remember MySpace days where we all became coders just to like edit our profiles?
Yes. I think that was by accident. I remember that was by accident. Like reading that was an accident because we weren't supposed to know the code, like to have a code on there, but then we did. So
where am I? Livy is struggling to be around Jack because of her feelings and leaves the shop. So now they're down to 1 person. They had 4 people for like 5 minutes.
Well, it was fun while it lasted.
Ariana explains to Ian how the night of the Valentine's Day party, it changed everything for her and how she felt about him. Ian says she can't have what she wants here or with him.
Mm-hmm.
He explains his plan for her to have a new identity and her independence, where her family wouldn't be able to find her. And she says she's not going anywhere now, not now or ever. And I was like, okay. And I'm also kind of feeling how you're playing crazy, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Karen and Frank danced to Time in a Bottle. That was nice.
Yeah. I wish they would have done something with Fate, but I like that little like moment where they dance to Time in the Bottle.
And behind them, Nellie's screen says, "I'm here. I want to talk to you too." And on the other side, we see a woman's hand typing, "Are you there?"
With a mood ring.
Mm-hmm. And even the computer looked older also.
Yeah.
And that's how it ended. So we didn't really have flashes of other lives this week at all.
No.
I don't know if we will again, and that's just like later in the arc. I really know nothing about this arc. Except that eventually Ariana will be gone. Michael Easton will be joining towards the end because I know he was already on it once Tainted Love started. That's all I know. And I guess time travel?
Yeah.
Are you remembering? Like, do you remember this whole arc?
So without saying it much, I remember the reveal at the end. That was the girl with the mood ring. Well, the
Well,
person with the mood ring. Yeah,
it was a feminine hand.
we'll assume it's a feminine hand with a mood ring. I don't want to say much.
Part of me is wondering, since we're doing the whole, I guess for lack of a better word, fated couples thing, that it's Karen in another lifetime or another decade.
You are so close.
Or it's going to be the actress playing her in another decade.
You are so close, but yeah, I don't want to say much.
Okay.
Let's just say it's Karen related.
Ooh. Okay. Like an ancestor almost?
Something like that, yeah.
Interesting. Somebody mentioned Frank's past of being a jerk. Did that happen on screen, or are we just referring to him as like a teenager?
I think some of it happened on screen.
Did
I
it?
think some of it happened on screen, yeah. So like, especially with Courtney, that brought out a lot of the jerk in him too.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I only ever watched
go.
like the beginning, like the movie, and then maybe like a month or two, and he always seemed like a nice guy. And then I remember this Frank, so I'm like, was he a jerk? Because I don't remember that.
I think this was more like in like the middle of like the pre-arc when Courtney came in.
Okay.
But then that didn't make sense either, because I think he adopted a teenage girl. So I'll have to go back. We'll have to go back.
Was this girl Courtney's daughter?
No. It was like a homeless. I think she was homeless, and he took her in.
And then
Her name was it Lark? I want to say. I think her name was Lark. She's gone now. I don't know what they did with the character. Like, it was played by one actress, then she got recast, and then they just like nixed the character.
Interesting. Well, I really don't know what to predict. I just know time travel. That's all I'm going to keep saying is time travel. But do you have anything else to add before we wrap this up?
Yeah, like, I really like that Port Charles had the PSA with Rain. I like that they used Abul Anshul to like kind of promote it. I am a fan of Tori Amos, so I like whenever anybody mentions Rain, because that's like her main like
charity or
well, I think she kind of founded it.
Oh, really?
Because, yeah, she so let's put a little trigger warning. She was actually raped after a concert before she became famous. And then like when she became famous, that's when she was like, okay, I want to start something like to help people with with the trauma. So that's what Rain is. I almost volunteered for Rain, but I'm busy, so I can't really do it. But you can actually volunteer for Rain. It's, from what I understand, it's amazing. It's like really.
I remember back when the OC was like the hottest show, like teen drama wise. They didn't do a rape storyline, but Rachel Bilson, who played Summer Roberts on the show, did ads for Rain, and I remember like researching Rain back then. I guess every state like has their own women's hotline, like you were talking about. Like you said, Philly has their own, California. So I wish I had known going into this that was going to be a topic, because I would have gotten the numbers to post. But maybe I'll research that and I'll post it on the socials.
Yeah, I can real quick find the number. I feel like I know it. Give me one moment. So the phone number for the National Sexual Assault Hotline is 1-800-656-4673. There's also a chat, and you can visit their official website.
Great. Thanks for pulling that up so quickly.
You're welcome. I have my phone right next to me, so.
All All right. Well, thank you for joining us for another week of Port Charles, Time in a Bottle. Next time you see us, we'll be covering week 3. And until then, have a great night, day, whenever you're watching this or listening to this. Bye.
Bye.